Hi there. This series attempts to explore the intricate allusions of the game Hellgate London. This time we're beamed up into the realm of Star Trek. Now, before we begin, let me just clarify that my knowledge of the Star Trek lore is very limited. Therefore, my analysis may very well be incomplete. Kindly feel free to correct me on any particular aspect of it in the comments below, as it will only give me the opportunity to learn something new. So, the game offers 3 NPC-based allusions, all located in the same station, Temple Station. Upon arrival there, the first two the player encounters are Tiberius and Stuart. Now, Tiberius is quite straightforward, as the name itself is a direct allusion to James Tiberius Kirk. The character was originally portrayed by William Shatner, which will be of much significance later. So apart from the name and physical similarity to the character, as early as in his first conversation with the player, the NPC mentions acting and presumably becoming a thespian, most probably referencing Shatner's own Shakespearean acting. Quite amusingly, the NPC closely resembles Shatner's portrayal of the character, by adopting Shatner's infamous pauses and overall delivery style, both in written text and in the NPC's audio.
I am strangely aroused by your many disfigurements and generally unique choice of attire.
It's specifically noteworthy that there is even a line of dialogue that directly mentions the character's arguable ladies' man status. This particular audio clip wasn't used in the finished game, not to my knowledge anyway, but it can still be found in the game data.
I am known across the entirety of the universe as quite a ladies' man. It is a well-earned reputation.
Lastly, the information the game provides upon inspecting the NPC mentions occasional rows with superiors, which may very well be alluding to Shatner's quarrels and conflicts with his co-stars, producers, and/or studio staff at the time. Now, next to Tiberius stands another NPC, Stuart. Now, Stuart bears a striking resemblance to Sir Patrick Stewart, the actor who originally portrayed Jean-Luc Picard, but the overall delusion is much more subtle. Inspecting the NPC reveals that Stuart dreamt of conquering the mysteries of space before Hellgate's demonic invasion, which resonates with how Picard dreamt of joining the Starfleet. The last line of this particular text is the most curious, however, as it reads, "So that we may once again be driven by imagined wonders and insatiable curiosity." This phrasing may seem oddly specific, and it may very well be. Imagined wonders may likely be a reference to a line from the episode Q Who, where Q addresses Picard and says, "You're about to move into areas of the galaxy containing wonders more incredible than you can possibly imagine." Insatiable curiosity, on the other hand, may likely be a reference to Star Trek the Motion Picture, released in 1979, where Spock exclaims that they were being examined with insatiable curiosity. Curiously, insatiable curiosity is also used to describe Vulcans. Lastly, the NPC eventually gives the player a quest named Heartfelt, where he mentions having been stabbed in his youth, and now being the lucky owner of an artificial ticker because of it. This is most probably alluding to Picard having also lost his original heart as a young officer when he was stabbed during a bar brawl. It's worth noting at this point that the game oddly also contains another Picard reference, but let us finish up the NPC-based allusions first. So in the same station, a few feet away, stands another quest giver, Claire. Now, Claire's inspection description offers no visible hints at her being a Star Trek allusion, to me anyway, but there's a few other clues that suggest she may be one, specifically to Claire Raymond. So apart from the physical resemblance, Claire wears what the game dubs a workman shirt with tool pockets. This may be alluding to Claire Raymond being a homemaker. Data, who was unfamiliar with the term, said that the occupation of a homemaker must be some kind of construction work. Lastly, the spelling of Hellgate's Claire may be alluding to how the Star Trek chronology, and later the Star Trek Encyclopedia, both misspelled her first name as Claire with an I. Now, NPCs aside, let us return to Picard, and specifically to another allusion to him, in the form of an item, Jean-Luc's petards. This item is a pair of gloves, whose name is an obvious play on the sound of Jean-Luc Picard. The spelling of John in itself may be a nod at the correct pronunciation of Picard's name, as opposed to the often used pronunciation of Jean. As for petard, it may well just be a fitting description of the glove's material. If one were to entertain less plausible ideas, however, one could make the case for it being a reference to the idiom of Shakespearean origin, hoist with his own petard. The idiom essentially means to fall victim to one's own plans, so keeping in mind that the item is for Kabbalists and that it has been established in Hellgate's lore that Kabbalists may fall victim to their own powers, this may have been another reason for choosing this particular word. Lastly, since we're on the subject of item-based allusions, the game also contains a hunter weapon, Vulcan Bolter. At a glance, one may assume that this weapon is alluding to Star Trek Vulcans, but it would seem that Warhammer 40k also has a weapon named Vulcan Mega Bolter. Since Hellgate's Vulcan Bolter offers no other clues in its flavor text or description, it would be fairly difficult to claim with certainty that this weapon is in fact a Star Trek reference and not a Warhammer 40k one. So that wraps up the Star Trek allusions I've been able to identify and decipher. Feel free to share your thoughts on these or on any others I might have missed in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching and I'll see you at the gates.